Was shocked and saddened when I saw the news this morning. I knew Toby was ill, and he'd been fighting stomach cancer for some time, but I still had hope that we'd see each other again and that we would hear him on the stage. Because I was lucky enough to become friends with Toby over the years, as improbable as that seems. We met very early on the Colbert Report, and back then there was a not-so-helpful legend that I had knives out for some of my guests, and it didn't help that at the beginning I sometimes did. And I remember having some kind of plan for Toby, I think related to his Boot in Your Ass song. But right before I went on stage, I remember vividly looking down at my shoes and saying, "What are you doing? You're a host. He's your guest. Make him feel welcome. See who he is." And what do you know? We hit it off like a house of fire. I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed talking to Toby Keith. And evidently, Toby had a good time too, because after the show, I was headed to a post-mortem meeting, and he was coming out of his green room, and those rooms were on the same hallway. And as he was heading for the door that goes out onto 54th Street, he turned and caught my eye and said, "Hey, man, you do a great job. Whatever the it is you do." And I took that as the greatest compliment, so much so that my then head writer, Allison Silverman, for Christmas, had that stitched on a pillow for me. And it has been in my office ever since. That day, Toby taught me not to prejudge a guest and to have my intention, but to keep my eyes open to the reality of who they are. And for that lesson, and for a lot of other things, I'm always going to be grateful.
We don't know what I haven't worked in 2 years, so we're just going to go figure it out. But it's a roller coaster all the time with this stuff. I have the resources, financially and otherwise, to get the best treatments I can get. And they're taking great care of me, and I'm getting all the latest stuff you can get. And in fact, I'm going tomorrow to Florida to see another guy down there that's got some other kind of treatments. And I'm trying them all. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at. But I have a big enough platform that if it can do me some good, then maybe I'm seeing all the pitfalls in this. Cancer is an island, and you're on a boat, and nobody goes over to that island when you don't have it. And as soon as you crash land on it, there's a lot of boats there. Everybody's got this stuff, and it's more than people think. So I was like, if I can survive this and live to tell my story, maybe I can save somebody else's life. Like my sister told me, she said, "You got cancer, but cancer don't have you." So, I'm doing good. Just because I'm going through treatments, I just can't sit around. This is the first 2 years of my whole life I've ever been off work.
Right.
And so I got to get busy, and you just can't let it define your future. You just have to keep looking forward and going. And it's been a wonderful outpouring of prayers. Every single person walks up and says, "Hey, we're praying for you, we're pulling for you," and that kind of stuff, and keeping a positive attitude goes good. But I've been very blessed, and I've lived 10 lifetimes, so I've got my brain wrapped around all this. I'm a man of faith, and I know what I'm doing, and the Almighty's riding shotgun. So we're just gonna get our jam back on.
I love it. I love it. Now, I've heard you, been around you here in the last few months. You've been out singing, and you always sound great, of course. And, Carol and I and our whole crew here in Norman will be there with you in Vegas. You bet on that. So you're going to join me on this. And I know you and I are both part here of, partnership with Sellout Crowd. So this has been fun, Big T. I appreciate you sharing whatever.
And we're getting ready to have our party. And I'm also probably going to start some kind of a crazy podcast. I'm just looking for which direction to do it. But, I can get all the old Sooners on here too. And I get a lot of entertainers on here. So if there's a spot for that, I'm probably going to. But I guess I just want to know, I got to get it in my head what direction to do. But I'd like to have some kind of a fun little podcast myself.
The country singer, that is Toby Keith, died on Monday at the age of 62 after a long battle with stomach-related issues. Toby Keith, according to a statement that was released on his official social media pages, they said he passed away peacefully last night on February surrounded by his family, and he fought his fight with grace and courage. And of course, they said, please respect the privacy of the deceased at a time. And that was the segment that was released on social media pages and of course his website after his passing on. Now, as we are still mourning, commemorating, and also pay tributes, we've seen so many people actually coming out, most especially those who are within the country music genre, coming out to pay their tributes to the legend who passed away peacefully at his home, you know, on February 5th. According to a couple of people, you know, they said that he's been one of those legends who has not only influenced those within his genre, the likes of Taylor Swift actually were inspired and also, you know, made by this legendary man that is Toby Keith. They said in the year around 20 or that is 2000, you know, Toby Keith went ahead and acquired Taylor Swift and joined his band and his group, you know, and that's when actually Taylor Swift, you know, made the transition to the real huge musician you're seeing today. So we saw Blockbuster actually also coming out to pay his tributes on Facebook, you know, with when he mimed when he mimed one of Toby Keith's songs, and it was really wonderful. So as we are waiting for the funeral memorial service and of course the details of the celebration of life service from the family, all we are going to say is continue resting in power the king that is Toby Keith. It's been really a very, very sad day for the country music genre. Of course, we'll be coming out to give you all the updates here at Dicto Media. Just stay